Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. There's a certain kind of man who walks through life oblivious to a harsh truth. He's the fool in the room, and he doesn't even know it. He stumbles through the same mistakes, day after day, year after year, convinced he's got it all figured out. Meanwhile, those around him can only watch, shaking their heads in quiet disbelief. They see what he kenneth his own ignorance, his own folly. And the worst part? He's so blind to his shortcomings that he doesn't even realize he's the one everyone pities. If you're not careful, that man could be you. But today, we're going to confront that possibility head-on. Because stupidity isn't just about a lack of intelligence, it's not about your IQ or how many books you've read. Stupidity is a mindset, a disease of the soul that poisons your decisions, destroys your relationships, and turns you into a walking cautionary tale. The question isn't whether you're smart on paper. The question is, are you levying like a fool? Let's find out by examining the signs of a foolish man and, more importantly, how to rise above them through the lens of Stoic wisdom. Have you ever met a man who just has to be right, no matter the cost? No matter how ridiculous he sounds, no matter how clear the evidence against him. He'll argue until he's blue in the face. He'll raise his voice, twist words, throw tantrums, anything to avoid the sting of being wrong. This man doesn't listen. He's not interested in understanding or learning. He's just waiting for his turn to speak, ready to pounce with his next point. And when someone wiser, someone more knowledgeable, tries to offer insight, he gets defensive. Why? Because deep down, he knows he's out of his depth. But instead of admitting it, he doubles down, digging his own grave with every stubborn word. The Stoics had a name for this arrogance. It's the opposite of wisdom. A wise man, as Epictetus taught, seeks truth above all else, even when that truth bruises his ego. A fool, on the other hand, fights against reality, clinging to his pride like a drowning man clings to a sinking ship. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth which never harmed anyone." That's the mindset of a man who grows, a man who listens, a man who isn't afraid to be wrong because he knows that being wrong is the first step to being better. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened? Not just sat quietly while someone spoke, but actually opened your mind to what they were saying, even if it challenged your beliefs. If you can't remember, you might be the fool in the room. The good news is, you can change that today. Start by practicing the Stoic art of silence. Listen more than you speak. Seek to understand before you seek to be understood. The truth doesn't care about your ego, it's your job to align yourself with it. The foolish man loves to blame luck for his failures. He looks at a successful man and sneers, "Must be nice. He got lucky." He sees a wealthy man and assumes he cheated his way to the top. He watches a fit man walk by and mutters, "Good genetics." But turn the question back on him. What's he doing to improve his own life? Nothing. He's sitting on the sidelines, making excuses, while the world moves forward without him. The truth is, he's lazy. And instead of facing that uncomfortable reality, he builds a fantasy where success is just a roll of the dice. That way, he never has to take responsibility for his own stagnation. A real man, a Stoic man, knows better. Luck isn't some magical force that decides your fate. Luck is what happens when discipline meets time. Show up every day. Do the work, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Over time, the results will come and people will call it luck. But you'll know the truth. You built that success with your own hands. As Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, put it, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The foolish man waits for opportunity to fall into his lap. The wise man prepares day in and day out, so that when opportunity arrives, he's ready to seize it. Take a hard look at your life. Are you blaming luck for your failures, or are you taking ownership of them? If you're not where you wanted to be, ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today to move closer to your goal? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. The Stoics believed in focusing on what's within your control. You can't control luck, but you can control your effort. Start there and watch how lucky you become. A foolish man spends his life fighting battles that don't matter. He'll argue with strangers online about politics, wasting hours on debates that change nothing. He'll pick fights over trivial nonsense just to prove a point. He'll pour his energy into conflicts that have no bearing on his actual life. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. His time, his most precious resource, is slipping away, and he doesn't even realize it. A wise man, a Stoic, knows better. He understands that his energy is finite. Every moment you spend on a meaningless battle is a moment you can't spend on something that actually matters. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your men, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. A smart man chooses his wars carefully. He doesn't waste his breath on arguments that lead nowhere. He focuses on what he can control, on battles that move him closer to his purpose. As Marcus also said, you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Every time you engage in a pointless fight, you're choosing tomorrow over today. You're delaying your own growth. Think about the last week of your life. How much time did you spend on things that didn't actually improve your situation? How many hours did you waste arguing, complaining, or obsessing over things you can't change? Now imagine if you had spent that time learning a new skill, strengthening a relationship, or working toward a goal. The Stoic path is about clarity, knowing what matters and letting go of what doesn't. Stop fighting battles that don't lead to victory. Focus on the war within yourself, war to become a better man. The foolish man is a slave to his emotions. If he feels angry, he lashes out. If he feels sad, he gives up. If something bruises his ego, he reacts without thinking. He believes the world should bend to his feelings, that his emotional state is the most important thing in the room. But the world doesn't care about your feelings. Reality doesn't adjust to your mood. A real man, a Stoic man, understands that emotions are just temporary waves. They come, they go. You don't fight them, and you don't drown in them. You surf them. You acknowledge your feelings, but you don't let them dictate your actions. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The foolish man lets his emotions run his life. He's a puppet, jerked around by every passing mood. The wise man is the master of his emotions. He feels anger, sadness, or fear just like anyone else, but he doesn't let those feelings control him. He steps back, observes his emotions with detachment, and chooses his response based on reason, not impulse. Let's say you get into an argument with a friend, and it leaves you furious. The foolish man might storm off, say things he'll regret, or hold a grudge for weeks. The wise man takes a breath. He asks himself, "Why am I angry? Is this worth my energy? What's the rational way to handle this?" He doesn't ignore his feelings, processes them, but he doesn't let them steer the ship. If you want to stop being the fool in the room, start practicing this Stoic discipline. The next time you feel a strong emotion, pause. Don't react immediately. Give yourself space to think. Then act in alignment with your values, not your mood. There's a type of man who keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. Maybe he keeps falling into toxic relationships, chasing the same kind of partner who always lets him down. Maybe he blows his money on frivolous things, then wonders why he's broke. Maybe he trusts the wrong people, gets burned, and does it all over again. And every time, he says the same thing, "Man, I just have bad luck." No, you don't have bad luck. You have bad patterns. You're not a victim of fate, or a victim of your own refusal to learn. A foolish man repeats his failures because he never takes the time to study them. He doesn't ask, "What did I do wrong? How can I do better next time?" He just jumps back into the same fire, expecting not to get burned. A wise man, a Stoic, operates differently. He analyzes his mistakes with the precision of a scientist. He adjusts his approach. He doesn't repeat the same error twice. As Seneca wrote, every night before going to sleep, we must ask ourselves, what weakness did I overcome today? What virtue did I acquire? That's the Stoic way: constant self-examination, constant improvement. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What's a mistake you've made more than once? Maybe it's procrastinating on important tasks, or losing your temper in situations that don't warrant it. Whatever it is, don't just shrug and move on. Dig into it. Why do you keep making that mistake? What's the pattern? What can you do differently next time? The Stoics believe that wisdom comes from learning, and learning comes from failure, but only if you're willing to face your failures head on. There's an old saying, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." A foolish man surrounds himself with other fool-slosers, complainers, gossipers, people who waste time and drag each other down. They're like crabs in a bucket, pulling each other back every time one tries to climb out. Why does he do this? Because it's comfortable. Being around people who are just as lost as he is makes him feel better about his own failures. He doesn't have to confront his shortcomings if everyone around him is making the same mistakes. A wise man, a Stoic, seeks out those who are better than him. He surrounds himself with people who challenge him, push him, force him to level up. He's not afraid to be the least knowledgeable person in the room, because he knows that's how he grows. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The wise man isn't concerned with looking smart in the moment. He's concerned with becoming smarter over time. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they making you better, or are they keeping you stuck? Do they inspire you to grow, or do they enable your worst habits? If you're surrounded by fools, you're likely on the path to becoming one yourself. The Stoic solution is simple. Seek out those who embody the virtues you want to cultivate. Find people who are disciplined, wise, and purposeful. Let their example pull you upward. Now you know the signs of a foolish man. You've seen the patterns that keep him trapped in a cycle of stupidity. The real question is, what are you going to do about it? The world is full of fools, but you don't have to be one of them. You have the power to wake up, to change, to align your life with the principles of Stoic wisdom. It starts with self-awareness, recognizing where you're falling short. It continues with discipline, doing the hard work of breaking bad patterns and building better ones. And it ends with purpose, living a life guided by reason, virtue, and the pursuit of truth. The Stoics believed that the good life is within your control. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control the fools around you, but you can control whether you become one of them. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The path to wisdom isn't easy, but it's simple. Listen more than you speak. Take responsibility for your life. Focus on what matters. Master your emotions. Learn from your mistakes. Surround yourself with those who lift you up. Do these things, and you'll not only escape the trap of stupidity, you'll become the kind of man others look to for guidance." So, where do you stand? Are you the fool in the room, or are you ready to rise above? The choice is yours. Start today. The world doesn't wait for fools, but it always has room for the wise. If this message resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you create the life you truly deserve. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.